There's a very old saying, if you build it, they will come. Now, a lot of you guys might not remember where that quote came from, but it's certainly apt for this, the Atto 3. Yes, they built it, but is it your dream? Let's find out. Happy New Year, everyone. Vince here from AutoIndustriya, and we are kicking off our 2024 season of car reviews with this, the BYD Atto 3. Now, I know a lot of you guys have been looking forward to this review from us, and it's primarily because of the size of the vehicle and particularly the price, because the starting price is around 1.6 million to just under 1.8. Now, what is BYD and why should you pay attention? Now, originally, BYD, which stands for, by the way, Build Your Dreams, is a battery manufacturer based in the Silicon Valley of China, which is Shenzhen. No, Shenzhen is not just a place where you look at your Shopee tracking and, oh, it's in my sorting center or something like that. No, it is basically the electronics hub of China, and that's where BYD is based. Actually, we paid their factory a visit just a few months ago. And they showed us what their cars can do, from the seagull, the seal, and the dolphin, all that stuff. But the one we were really looking forward to, just like you, is this one, and why shouldn't we? The car looks really cheerful. I mean, with the front end that it's got, the trim there with the BYD logo, the LED headlights, the 18-inch wheels, the color, the 5-door crossover form factor, and the panoramic glass roof. But when we show you what's inside, well, it's actually really, really nice. But now let's check out the cargo space. I really like how the BYD Atto 3 is really pleasant to look at. Even from the back, I mean, they do have Build Your Dreams spelled out over there, lots of nice details. But the detail I like the most, the taillights. It reminds me of the Cylons from Battlestar Galactica. Frackin' toasters. To open the tailgate, two ways to do it. One is you can press that button down there, or you can twice. See, that releases the lift gate. And surprisingly, it's not a motorized lift gate, but that's all well and good. I mean, it's a small car. No problem. Now, you get here a parcel shelf, not just a tonneau cover, so you can put stuff on there. It's load bearing. And the space here is about 14 inches from here to up to where this would sit, and then about 32 inches long from here to there, and 37.5 inches wide. The maximum width, or actually it's almost length now, is 37.5 over there. And then you can expand this by folding down the rear seat, which surprisingly, it actually folds pretty flat, which is quite cool. And that configuration is about 52 inches long from here to there. We'll show you the metric conversions down there in a bit. Now, what's neat here is that this is actually a two-tier shelf design, or I guess two-position shelf design. So and this is the upper one, and then you can put it down here, and it'll just fall down flat over there. But what it gives you is an extra 6 inches of volume right over here. Now, when we get this out of the way, we can show you what's going on over here. You see, we've got more stuff going on underneath this vehicle, or at least underneath the floor. For one, you've got a tire repair kit fluid, sealant fluid, a reflective vest that I hope I never ever have to use, and this is your mobile charger. So it gives you, I think it's about maybe 2 kilowatts. Usually these are about like that, not really that fast, so it'll take a while, but it'll do the job if you're, let's say, parked at your house overnight and just plug it in. But what's really cool here is this one. This is something, it is an extension cord, and it's BYD branded, this extension cord. It's max 2300 watts. But what this is your V2L. So when you plug it into the socket in front, or the charging port in front, it gives you the ability to power certain things, like 2300 watts. You can do ironing with that kind of thing. And that's actually good. So it gives you the ability to use your BYD Atto 3 as a, I guess, mobile power bank, either when you're out camping or in an emergency. So it gives you that extra versatility to use the stored energy for something else. Now let's check out what's under the hood. The first thing that will really surprise you when you look at the engine bay of the BYD Atto 3 is how it looks very empty. Because once we come up here now, you'll see that everything is down low to the ground. There's really not much that we can talk about here. Or is there? So under the hood, it is very spacious. And the reason it's spacious is because BYD has something called an 8-in-1 unit. Meaning, they have one unit that integrates a lot of the other important functions that you would find in an electric vehicle, from the charger, from the inverter, from the power control. All that stuff is integrated into that thing there, which is why they can have so much more space left over. Actually, I'm really wondering why they didn't put a front trunk in here. Now, when you look at the architecture of an electric vehicle, you'll see that the motor is pretty much directly in line with the axle, and that is the case with this one. It's got a 150 kilowatt electric motor with 310 Newton meters of torque, so plenty for something of this size. And the battery, it's a Blade battery. It's located underneath the car. It's about 60 kilowatt hours, just a little bit over that. But what's great about it is that being the Blade battery, it's one of those very resistant ones to any kind of combustion, that kind of thing. They actually demonstrated that to us, and it's a pretty impressive demonstration overall of how this battery is very, very safe. That's an important consideration for a lot of EVs. But still, yeah, wasted real estate here, so we wish they would put something there so we can make use of that, because sayang eh. But anyways, let's check out what's inside so we can show you what the interior is like of the Atto 3. And by the way, it's really cool. The very first moment you step inside the BYD Atto 3, you realize that it's unlike anything you've been in before. And even personally, me, it's unlike anything I've been in before. Because you look at everything. You know what? Let's start with the door. For starters, to open the door, you pull this thing on top of, I think this is a tweeter. You pull that, and the door opens. It's different. It's not a lever type. It's a, I don't know, roller, something, whatever. Then the door handle itself down here is different. The switches are the same. And then it has these strings. You'll see it on that side. That's like, it reminds me of guitar strings. It even makes a different sound, you know. Yeah, you best keep your kids from playing with that too much, because it's the elastic kind of, you know, they might stretch it out. But what I did find is it's pretty useless for water bottles and such. My water bottle won't fit in there, so keep that in mind. But the dashboard, this is what really gets you. It really has the wow factor in a lot of different ways. For one, they went for a two-tone design in this variant. They've got this kind of light gray with the nice deep blue on top. It looks very nice. It's not leather. I think it's some kind of pad, whatever. But the stitching there, of course, is not real. But still, it looks good with this nice flowing trim over there. And then you have the steering wheel. It's a flat bottom, but the way they designed it is a 3-spoke. But it looks almost organic, like something you'd find out of, I don't know, a craft in the Navi homeworld or something, an Avatar. It looks very cool. Your ADAS buttons are on the left side, adaptive cruise control in this variant. The other variant has the regular cruise control. And then you have your functions for, let's say, audio system right here and all that stuff. And a very special button here we'll show you in a bit. Right in front of you, this thing I would actually want changed. It's a bit too small personally, but it's basically your instrument screen, and it's a bit tiny. I mean, even compared to my phone, it's bigger than that. So keep that in mind. It is a bit small, but it has all your pertinent information. Not fuel, your energy, your tire pressure monitor. Yeah, it does have it. All that stuff. The status of the vehicle. It's all in here. And then you have what else is around it. We'll leave this for last, but all around the dashboard, you see these things that really remind you of a jukebox. Those are actually your AC vents. You have 4 of them, 2, 1, and then another one over there. So it's a total of 4. It's very different. To control the up and down, you use this, the lever. The up is very limited. The down, you can do that until it closes. And then left to right is like that. Yes, again, just like the strings, you may want to, make sure that you don't play with it too much, because I'm not saying it will break, but if you play with it too much, you might end up wearing it out a bit. But the screen, that's what's really nice about the vehicle. For one, in typical BYD fashion, You press either this button or that button and you can flip it right there. It becomes a portrait screen. How cool is that? But the actual response is it's just fast, and that's what's it really is like an iPad. It's not some cheap whatever knockoff type of tablet that you can find with the lowest, the cheapest processor you can also find, because this is actually really good. Driving recorder, it has this one has the 360 camera right there is very nice. You can, where's the other design of that? The panorama. There's another view of this where, let me flip this around again. There's another design of this in the 360 mode where you can go around the different views of the vehicle. But anyways, we'll get to that. There it is, the 3D. So you can go around the door is open right now, so it's not 100% accurate, but you can see it really does work very well, and the resolution is very good, much better than some of the Japanese cars we've tried lately. We think they should step up their game, but still, this is a nice screen because BYD being based in Shenzhen, they have all the access to all the technology they can find over there. So this screen is where you access a lot of the main features of the vehicle. Your climate control is actually here, but there's a drawback to this. But still, when you go around that, you have all the functions of your AC right there that you can control from this page. Also, what else you got? The smart charging, all that stuff. But your Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, yes, it does have Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, are nice and wireless. Because right now, if you notice, no wires. It's on the wireless charging pad right there, and I like that I can point the AC vent down there to keep it cool. But because phones do get warm when you use a wireless charging pad. But when you go to Android Auto, really, the response is also good. But in Android Auto mode, you can't flip the screen. So if you notice here, when I try to press the button here, rotation not supported, so you can only use it in this mode. But I think the biggest drawback here is that in this mode you can't access the AC system, because if you want to, let's say if you're driving and then you're using this, you have to get out of the Android Auto before you can use it. So you can do that either here when you press that, and then it allows you access. It turns off the actual audio. And then you have to go back to the Android Auto to be able to do that, or you can press this button, the mode button, to go back to the main screen before you can actually do that. So there you go. Keep that in mind when you use one of these. Now here in the middle, you do have your charging ports down there, USB-A to be able to hook up to the Android Auto if you need to, if you don't have the wireless support. 12-volt outlet, USB-C over there. Then down here, you've got all kinds of controls for different kinds of things. So for one, your hazard is here, okay? Start, stop right there. Your volume control is here. You can also do it here. And then electronic parking brake, auto brake hold. Your blind spot information or blind spot warning is right here as well. Along with the AC on and off, you can do that there, right? That's all the controls there. You can tailor it to your liking. Front defogger. Your traction control or drive mode, buttons right there, right? And then your energy recapture. So let's say if you're driving and then you want to coast, you can pop it in to make it a bit stronger in terms of the regen or the recapture from the engine, or I guess motor braking now, that would be the right term. And then you have your drive modes here. There's no drama when you put it into sport mode. There's no like in the GAC where you put it into the sport mode, it goes to X mode. That's kind of cool. But in this one, no, it just stays kind of chill right there. So you have, say, sport mode, eco mode, and then normal mode. Those are your three modes. Cup holders here, they're a bit tight together, the cup holders. One is deeper, one is shallower. Here's the key right there, BYD right there. Very, very easy to see. It still has, protective plastic. Well, I like to peel these things. Oh yeah, that's just so nice when you get to peel something off of something. But lock, unlock, you press it twice to release the trunk. It's not a power tailgate, so keep that in mind. And then you press and hold this to start the car and start up the AC and all that stuff. Down here, glove compartment, nothing really fancy there. Over here, another glove compartment there, pretty spacious actually. Two sun visors over there with the mirrors, RFID card, sana may load yan. And then you have your sunroof in this variant. This is the only variant that has a sunroof. The other variant does not. And then open the shade and then press to tilt and then press again to open up like that. It is a bit rearward, the actual sunroof. So if you're sitting here, like in my driving position, that is like, yeah, so you know what I mean. So for if you're in the back, you'll get the full experience of the sunroof. And by the way, the back seat is very spacious. That's what's nice about it. You have an armrest also with the 2 cup holders, your own AC vents here in the back with charging ports and the BYD design plate somewhere over there. But honestly, what I'm enjoying here, I mean, I do like the design, but the seat, I mean, normally, for a non-95 percentile guy, the seat, this one really fits me and it's really comfortable, even though it looks like a sports seat out of, I don't know, an Aston Martin or something. Still, enough talk. Let's go out and drive it so I can show you what this actually feels like on the road. Happy New Year, everyone. We're back on the road, back on our normal EDSA route, doing our normal testing thing in a car that is not really normal by many of our standards. And what I do realize, though, is that a lot of you have been looking forward to our review of the Atto 3. And apologies, we only got the car now, so we're trying it out for the first time here on, well, EDSA. And already off the bat, I want to get a lot of my criticisms out of the way of the car. So for one, a lot of the things here, like the interior, if you're a fan of conventional cars, if you don't like change too much, this might not be the kind of interior for you. Because BYD, they were much more liberal with what they did with the interior, with the way they played with the shapes, the details, and all that, especially the jukebox looking AC vents. So if you're not a fan of having unconventional things in your car, this might not be the one for you. And also, some of the controls are also very different. I mean, the transmission does take a bit of getting used to, but once you're used to it, you're perfectly fine. The door lever, it's not a lever, the door, I don't know what to call this, tumbler thing, is also very different. Personally, the only thing I would really change, I'm amenable to a lot of these things. The only things I would really change are the guitar string, the retainers that they have there, as well as the actual screen that's right in front of the driver, because I think this is a bit too small. But beyond those things, this is a wonderful car to drive every day. So for one, I do like the style. I do like the quote-unquote Cylon styling of the car. I am a fan of Battlestar Galactica, so I do like the styling. It's kind of cool. But more than that, it's a comfortable, quiet, everyday car. And once we get on the rougher stuff, you'll see why. It just works really well. It's normally expected for cars, particularly electric cars, to feel very smooth, very quiet, all that stuff. But this one is actually really good. Now, granted, the sacrifice is when it comes to handling. When you make a car a bit softer, you do sacrifice on the handling, the cornering, and all that stuff. But I think that is the right way to go, the right compromise to go, particularly for a car. Now, bumps, rough EDSA asphalt, patches, and all that. And the Atto 3 soaks it up very, very well. That is something that I really like. Driving it around right now, we're coming up to some rougher parts of the road. It just comes in very, very nicely. No matter what, the car is gonna shake and whatever, but it's the way that it tries to absorb it is actually really nice for everyday driving. And mind you, when it comes to EDSA and electric cars, we can't really say that out of for a lot, because a lot of them tend to be heavy and all of that, so they have to beef up the suspension. This one, yeah, they did it just right, particularly when it comes to comfort. Now, when it comes to range, the maximum range of this one is around 480 kilometers on one full charge. And I think it's gonna easily do that, because On my drive, like in traffic on the way here, it's about average of, I think, around 19 kilometers per hour. I consumed about 3% of the battery. So I'll come up with a computation, put it down there so we can see how many kilowatts it consumed overall, or kilowatt hours it consumed out of the battery. But I don't think it's that much, which is good. It seems that BYD is really good when it comes to the energy efficiency of their vehicles, and they should be, because they specialize in this kind of thing. They're really one of the pioneers when it comes to electric vehicles, because they are a battery manufacturer. That's what BYD originally is, and still is. And speaking of the battery, that is something that is going to be key, because I know it's hanging on a lot of people who drive electric cars or even hybrids. For example, the fire risk, because there is a fire risk with lithium-ion batteries. Don't get me wrong. There's going to be that's something that just comes with it. But of course, that's a very rare occurrence. It's going to take a lot for that to happen. I hope I didn't jinx that. But in the case of this one, what they use is something called an LFP, or the blade battery. And well, if we've seen how they demonstrate that when it encounters a puncture, because the way it's engineered is that it's not as, let's say, combustible as many of the other batteries available for many EVs out there. And it's something that BYD does well. And clearly, we're seeing that with the Atto 3. So there are a lot of features with the car that, you know, we really appreciate. I mean, sunroof. I do like the adaptive cruise control in this one. It works well. The lane keeping function, not so much. I think they can refine that a lot more, particularly for roads like Skyway 3, that kind of thing. It's just not as good as, let's say, the one on the Subaru, which follows the road very well. Even with the Honda sensing, that's a very, very good system. But this one, not so much. But what I enjoy is the 3 driving modes of the vehicle. So let's say right now, you have normal, balance of, you know, response and all that. And then you have Eco, which kind of really holds back the response of the throttle. And then you pop it into Sport, and then you step on it. The response is a lot more immediate. And 0 to 100 of this one is like just a little bit over 7 seconds. So it is a fairly quick crossover for what it is. But what's really important more with the BYD is the pricing. Now, like I said, a lot of you guys are looking forward to this vehicle because of the pricing of it. So let's go back to the warehouse now and discuss that. So the BYD Atto 3, there's a lot to love about this crossover from BYD Philippines, because style is good, interior is nice, not for everyone, but it is nice. The feature set is nice. The only thing I would really change, well, I might want a bit more handling, but then again, the comfort of this one is already good for 99% of my driving, which is really in the city. And in terms of price, they knocked it out of the park, because this one is 1.798 million, so just under 1.8. And I think that's a good price for the top spec version. The other one is 1.598, so just under 1.6. But you lose some of the nicer advanced safety features in this one, in the lower grade variant. Honestly, I have been very vocal and very critical of how Ayala does with many of their models from the Volkswagen brand and the Kia brand, particularly when it comes to specs and, most importantly, pricing. But with BYD, they finally have something they can bank on. But let us know in the comments below what you think of this vehicle and BYD in general in the Philippine market. Do you think it's a hit? Is it right for you? Let us know. This is Vince of AutoIndustriya.com. Thanks for watching.